The first light of dawn stretches across Salisbury Plain, painting Stonehenge in golden hues as those towering stones stand silent against the sky. But what if these ancient sentinels aren't just monuments? What if they're messages? Carved into the earth by civilizations long gone, these megalithic wonders seem to whisper a secret, one written in the universal language of sacred geometry. From the pyramids of Giza to the haunting moai of Easter Island, these sites share something uncanny, shapes and alignments so precise they defy the limits of their time. How did builders without modern tools encode mathematical truths into stone? Why do these patterns echo across continents as if part of some grand, forgotten design? Together, we'll unravel the threads of this mystery, where precise geometry meets celestial rhythms, where myth and measurement intertwine. This is more than history, it's a code waiting to be cracked. The patterns of the universe are written in a silent language, one of shapes, ratios, and harmonies that repeat across the scales of existence. This is sacred geometry, the hidden framework woven into the petals of a flower, the curve of a galaxy, even the proportions of our own bodies. It's as if nature itself follows an invisible compass, one that ancient civilizations not only recognized but worshipped. Take the Fibonacci sequence, where each number is the sum of the two before it, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, unfolding endlessly. This progression creates the golden ratio, roughly 1.618, a proportion so precise it appears in the spiral of a nautilus shell, the branching of trees, even the way our DNA twists. The Greeks called it the divine section, believing it held the secret to aesthetic perfection. The Egyptians embedded it in the pyramids, aligning their slopes to mirror cosmic order. Now shift your gaze to the standing stones of Karnak or the labyrinthine corridors of Newgrange. Here, the same ratios emerge, doorways, alignments, and chambers built to resonate with these universal principles. Could these structures be more than tombs or temples? Some researchers argue they're three-dimensional expressions of sacred geometry, stone textbooks left by ancestors who understood the fabric of reality in ways we're only beginning to grasp. The precision isn't accidental, it's intentional, a bridge between Earth and the infinite. Beneath the open skies of England, Stonehenge rises like an ancient hand reaching toward the heavens. Those massive sarsen stones, some weighing over 25 tons, aren't just arranged randomly, they form a precise celestial map, the most famous alignment. The summer solstice sunrise, where the first light of the longest day slips perfectly between the uprights of the Great Trilithon, bathing the inner altar in gold. But this is no accident of design. It's proof of an advanced understanding of astronomy, thousands of years before modern telescopes. The mystery deepens when we examine the Aubrey holes, a ring of 56 chalk-filled pits encircling the monument. Researchers speculate these weren't just ritual spaces but a sophisticated counting system, a Neolithic computer. By moving markers between the holes, ancient astronomers could predict eclipses, track the moon's 18.6-year cycle, even measure time itself with startling accuracy. How did a culture without written records achieve such precision? Mainstream archaeology points to gradual ingenuity, decades of observation, trial, and error. But alternative theories whisper of something more. Ancient legends speak of Merlin using magic to transport the stones, while some fringe researchers propose lost technologies like sound levitation that could have made moving massive blocks effortless. Whether myth or method, one thing is undeniable. Stonehenge's builders possessed knowledge that challenges our assumptions about the past. And if Stonehenge leaves you awestruck, wait until we journey to the next site where geometry doesn't just mimic the cosmos but dwarfs it in scale. Stretching skyward from the sands of Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza doesn't just defy time, it defies logic. This isn't merely a tomb, It's a mathematical marvel carved in stone, one that encodes the very dimensions of our planet. Take its base perimeter, a measurement so precise that if you multiplied it by 43,200, you'd get Earth's equatorial circumference. Coincidence unlikely. This isn't rough estimation, it's intentional, a deliberate echo of the world scale preserved in limestone. Then there's the pyramid's alignment. While modern architects rely on satellite technology to orient buildings, the Great Pyramid's sides face true north with an error margin of just 3/60ths of a degree. That's more accurate than the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, and somehow the builders wove the mathematical constant pi into its very shape. Divide the pyramid's perimeter by twice its height, and you get 3.14159, the same ratio that defines circles across the universe. How did a Bronze Age civilization with no blueprints or calculators pull this off? Mainstream theories credit ingenious craftsmanship, ramps, rollers, and generations of labor. But some researchers point to anomalies: the precision of the stone cutting, the absence of tool marks on certain blocks, even ancient texts hinting at lost technologies. And then there's the Orion correlation theory, which suggests the three pyramids mirror the belt of Orion's constellation, a celestial map frozen in time. Were the pharaohs obsessed with stars, or was this a way to anchor cosmic knowledge in earthly stone? The deeper we dig, the more questions arise. But here's what's undeniable: the Great Pyramid stands as a testament to a sophistication we're still unraveling. And if its earthly precision isn't staggering enough, wait until we explore the structures hidden beneath the waves where geometry meets the ocean's uncharted depths. Beneath the turquoise waves off Japan's Yonaguni Island lies a structure so puzzling, it blurs the line between geology and human ingenuity. The Yonaguni Monument rises from the ocean floor like a drowned city, a series of massive terraces, sharp right angles, and staircases that eerily mirror ancient ziggurats. At first glance, it's hard to believe nature alone carved these precise formations. The main platform stretches nearly 150 meters, its edges unnaturally straight, while twin monoliths nearby seem placed with deliberate symmetry. Marine geologists argue these are sandstones fractured by tectonic activity, worn by currents over millennia. But then there's the turtle stone, a flat-topped block with uncanny resemblance to ceremonial altars found in Okinawan ruins. Enter the debate between science and speculation. Mainstream archaeologists point to similar natural formations worldwide, like Northern Ireland's Giant's Causeway. Yet others, like researcher Masaki Kimura, insist the monument shows clear tool marks and carvings, evidence of a lost civilization swallowed by rising seas. Could this be a remnant of Plato's Atlantis, or perhaps the Mu civilization, a Pacific counterpart to that legendary realm? The waters here deepen with theories, but one thing is certain: the structure's geometry feels deliberate, as if echoing the sacred ratios we've seen in pyramids and standing stones. Now let's surface from these oceanic mysteries and journey to the Andes, where another enigma defies explanation. Perched high above the city of Cusco, the colossal walls of Sacsayhuamán curve like the serrated teeth of a stone giant. Here, the Inca builders achieved what seems impossible: massive limestone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, cut with such geometric precision that not even a razor blade can slip between them. No mortar, no gaps, just an interlocking puzzle of polygonal stones, each uniquely shaped yet fitting flawlessly into its neighbors. Modern engineers still can't replicate this technique without laser-guided tools. So how did a civilization without the wheel or iron tools accomplish this? One controversial clue lies in the stones themselves. Some sections appear vitrified, their surfaces melted and rehardened, as if subjected to intense heat. Could the Incas have used a now-lost technology like concentrated sunlight or chemical compounds to soften and mold these rocks? Indigenous legends speak of a plant-based liquid that made stone pliable, a secret formula lost to time. Mainstream scholars dismiss this as myth, pointing to meticulous hammering and abrasion. Yet the vitrified patches remain unexplained, sparking debates about ancient innovation. Then there's the fortress's zigzagging walls echoing the jagged path of lightning. To the Inca, lightning was a sacred force, a bridge between Earth and the storm gods. The layout isn't just defensive, it's cosmic. The three-tiered design mirrors the Andean worldview, the underworld, the earthly realm, and the heavens above. Even more striking, the angles align with solstice sunrises, much like Stonehenge or Egypt's temples. Were these sites part of a shared ancient science, a global language of sacred geometry? Now consider the logistics. These gigantic stones were quarried miles away, then hauled up steep mountainsides without beasts of burden. The Spanish chroniclers wrote of the stones moving by themselves, fueled by rhythmic chanting. Some researchers speculate the Incas used acoustics or vibration to reduce friction, sliding the blocks as if they were weightless. Whether myth or method, the result is undeniable, a stone symphony defying time. From Peru's peaks to Japan's sunken ruins, these sites whisper of a forgotten thread connecting civilizations. Could the same cosmic principles encoded in stone have been known worldwide? As we turn to our final chapter, we'll unravel the most tantalizing question of all: why? Why did cultures across oceans and epochs build these monuments as if following the same starry blueprint? The answer may lie not in the earth but in the skies above. High above the Bolivian Altiplano, the ruins of Pumapunku lie scattered like pieces of an impossible jigsaw puzzle. Here, precision defies explanation. H-shaped blocks carved with laser-like accuracy, stone surfaces smoother than modern machining, and interlocking channels that suggest modular construction long before the industrial age. Yet halfway across the world, the same fingerprints of geometric mastery appear. Stonehenge's concentric rings aligning with solstices, the Great Pyramid's triangles mirroring celestial proportions. Could these similarities be coincidence, or is there something deeper woven into our planet's ancient landscapes? Enter the Earth grid theory, a web of invisible lines crisscrossing the globe, linking sacred sites from Angkor Wat to Machu Picchu. Ley lines, as they're sometimes called, aren't just folklore. Modern surveys reveal many megalithic sites sit at intersecting points of electromagnetic anomalies. Take the Great Pyramid, positioned at the center of Earth's landmasses if you exclude oceans. Or consider how Easter Island's Moai statues, Mexico's Teotihuacan, and Egypt's temples all align along a single great circle. Some researchers argue these nodes were chosen intentionally, acting as energy conduits or cosmic antennas. But here's the puzzle: how could cultures separated by oceans and millennia arrive at the same sacred geometry? Mainstream archaeology suggests convergent evolution, human minds independently grasping universal mathematical truths. The golden ratio appears in nature, after all. Perhaps ancient builders simply observed and replicated these patterns. Yet the precision is hard to dismiss. Pumapunku's H-blocks, for example, use a standardized measurement system identical to late Bronze Age European megaliths. Were these cultures connected by trade routes we've yet to uncover, or did they inherit knowledge from a much older, shared source? Spirituality offers another lens. From Tibetan mandalas to Islamic mosaics, sacred geometry has long been a bridge between the material and divine. The flower of life symbol, a pattern of overlapping circles, appears in Egyptian temples, Chinese temples, and even medieval Christian art. It's as if these shapes hold vibrational power, a language beyond words that resonates with the human soul. Modern science hints at this too. Cymatics experiments show sound frequencies organizing matter into geometric patterns, echoing the designs of ancient temples. So accident or intention, local innovation or global legacy, the stones won't speak plainly, but their geometry whispers of a world far more interconnected than our history books admit. And as we'll soon discover, these patterns don't just belong to the past, they might just hold keys to our future. From the incense-filled temples of India to the soaring cathedrals of Europe, sacred geometry isn't just an architectural quirk, it's a spiritual compass. Take Hinduism's mandalas, intricate circles and squares that map the cosmos, used as meditation tools to guide the soul toward enlightenment. Every line, every intersection is deliberate, mirroring the belief that the universe itself is a geometric blueprint. Then there's Christianity's rose windows, those kaleidoscopic masterpieces of stained glass. Far more than decoration, their concentric patterns radiate like sunbursts, symbolizing divine order and the harmony of creation. Even the fractal-like arabesques in Islamic art, devoid of human or animal forms, whisper a profound truth. That infinity can be captured in repeating geometric motifs, a reflection of Allah's infinite nature. Plato once claimed geometry is the language of the demiurge, the cosmic architect who shaped reality with mathematical precision. It's a striking idea that numbers and shapes aren't just tools but sacred keys to understanding existence. And perhaps nowhere is this more evident than in the flower of life, a symbol found etched into Egyptian temple walls, carved into Chinese jade, even hidden within Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks. This interlocking pattern of 19 circles isn't just art, it's a visual hymn to interconnectedness, a geometric echo of the bonds tying all life together. But here's where the mystical meets the practical. Modern researchers are rediscovering what ancients seemed to know intuitively, that these patterns do something. Cymatics experiments show sound vibrations arranging particles into geometric formations, eerily resembling sacred symbols. Architects today use the golden ratio to design spaces that feel inherently balanced, while studies suggest mandalas can reduce stress, as if their symmetry taps into our neural wiring. Whether by ancient devotion or modern science, the message is clear. Geometry isn't just about lines on paper. It's a bridge between the seen and unseen, a code waiting to be lived. Now, imagine stepping beyond theory into a world where these principles aren't just studied, they're experienced. What happens when we translate these age-old patterns into our daily lives? The answers might surprise you. Standing before the Sri Yantra, a mesmerizing lattice of interlocking triangles, you're not just looking at a design, you're witnessing a cosmic battery. Used for millennia in Hindu and Tantric traditions, this intricate symbol is more than art, it's a portal. The 9 triangles, 4 pointing upward, representing masculine energy, and 5 descending for the feminine, intersect to form 43 smaller triangles, creating a blueprint of balance. Meditators focus on its center, the bindu, said to harmonize the mind and amplify spiritual energy. But here's what's fascinating. Modern studies show that gazing at the Sri Yantra can synchronize brainwaves, inducing deep theta states, the same frequencies linked to profound intuition and healing. It's as if the ancients encoded neuroscience into sacred lines. Now shift your gaze to the Merkaba, a star tetrahedron revered in Kabbalistic teachings as a light vehicle for ascending consciousness. Picture 2 pyramids, one pointing skyward, the other grounding into Earth, spinning in opposite directions. This isn't just metaphor. Practitioners describe a palpable energy field when visualizing the Merkaba, a sensation backed by bioelectrical research. Studies on geometric meditation, like those at the HeartMath Institute, reveal that focused visualization of such shapes can elevate heart coherence, literally aligning the body's rhythms with the symbol's mathematical perfection. Science is now catching up to what mystics have long claimed. Cymatics experiments demonstrate how sound frequencies organize matter into geometric patterns, hexagons, mandalas, even Sri Yantra-like forms, proving that vibration shapes reality. Hospitals are adopting these principles, using fractal-based art to reduce patient stress, while architects design healing spaces with golden ratio proportions. The message is clear: geometry isn't just seen, it's felt. Yet for all their elegance, these symbols hint at a tantalizing question. How did ancient cultures apply such precise geometry in their structures? The answer might lie in techniques so advanced they border on the unbelievable. Hidden beneath the dust of time lies a provocative question. How did ancient builders manipulate massive stone blocks with such impossible precision? Mainstream archaeology credits ramps, ropes, and sheer manpower, but scattered clues suggest some civilizations may have harnessed forgotten technologies that defy our modern understanding. Take the so-called Baghdad Battery, a clay pot found in Iraq dating back 2,000 years. Inside, a copper cylinder and iron rod sit suspended in vinegar or grape juice, a setup eerily resembling a primitive electrochemical cell. Replicas have generated small voltages, sparking theories that the Egyptians or Parthians might have used such devices for electroplating, or even as components in larger, lost systems. Could these artifacts hint at an ancient form of energy manipulation, one that powered tools beyond our current imagination? Now, journey to Peru's Ollantaytambo, where the megalithic fortress walls bear a bizarre feature: stones with surfaces that appear melted, as if softened by intense heat before being reshaped. Indigenous oral histories speak of a mythical plant extract that turned rock malleable, while fringe researchers point to vitrification patterns suggesting exposure to temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius. Skeptics argue these are natural geological formations, weathered by wind and water over millennia. But then there's the testimony of 20th century explorer Percy Fawcett, who claimed Amazonian tribes demonstrated plant-based liquids dissolving stone, a technique they said was inherited from older civilizations. Whether myth or memory, these accounts linger at the edges of plausibility. Yet perhaps the most staggering evidence comes from living tradition. Tibetan monks still practice the ritual of lungam, a form of meditation said to enable levitation. Early 20th century travelers like Swedish explorer Sven Hedin documented monks allegedly moving boulders up mountainsides using only chants and drums, a practice mirrored in Inca legends of stones walking to construction sites when sung to. Modern physics offers a curious parallel. Acoustic levitation experiments demonstrate how sound frequencies can suspend objects in midair. Were ancient cultures tapping into resonant vibrations to move the unmovable? What's undeniable is the astronomical brilliance encoded in these sites. From the celestial alignments of Teotihuacan to Angkor Wat's temple complex mirroring the Draco constellation, these builders didn't just move stone, they mapped the heavens. The precision of their star knowledge, achieved without telescopes or written records, suggests a sophistication we're only beginning to decode. Whether through lost technology or transcendent understanding, one truth emerges: our ancestors saw further than we've ever credited them for. At the heart of Ireland's Boyne Valley, the ancient tomb of Newgrange waits in silence until one moment each year, when the winter solstice sun pierces its darkness like a golden key. For 17 minutes at dawn, a narrow beam of light travels down the 60-foot passage, perfectly illuminating the inner chamber's spiral carvings. This isn't random, it's celestial engineering carved into earth and stone, a 5,000-year-old alarm clock set to the rhythm of the cosmos. Similar precision unfolds in New Mexico's Choco Canyon, where petroglyphs etched high on cliff faces frame the moon during its rare standstill, an 18.6-year cycle when the moon pauses at its furthest points in the sky. These aren't mere artistic flourishes, they're astronomical records, proof that ancient observers tracked celestial movements with naked eye accuracy rivaling modern telescopes. Yet the real revelation lies in what these sites hint at, an understanding of the precession of the equinoxes, the slow wobble of Earth's axis that shifts our view of the stars over 26,000 years. While mainstream science credits Hipparchus with discovering this phenomenon in 134 BCE, myths from Egypt to Mesopotamia describe celestial cycles matching precession's timeline. The Hindu Yuga cycles, the Greek legend of the phoenix reborn every 12,960 years, even Plato's Great Year, all echo this cosmic rhythm. Did ancient cultures detect Earth's subtle dance through generations of stargazing, encoding it in myth as a warning or a wisdom? Now consider the gap between their knowledge and ours. Modern astronomy, with its satellites and supercomputers, mapped the heavens in centuries, yet these builders achieved similar feats without lenses or written records. The difference: they didn't just study the stars, they conversed with them, weaving celestial patterns into stone and story. But the mysteries don't end with light and shadow. Listen closely at sites like Scotland's Ring of Brodgar or Malta's Hypogeum, where whispers bounce off walls in uncanny ways. The stones themselves seem to sing, amplifying sound at specific frequencies, a clue that ancient architects may have designed spaces not just for the eyes but for the ears. What secrets might these acoustic blueprints hold? The answer lies where geometry meets vibration beneath the rolling green hills of Ireland's Boyne Valley. The hill of Tara hums with a secret, one you can feel more than hear. Stand at the Lia Fail, the ancient stone of destiny, and the ground itself seems to vibrate underfoot. Researchers using frequency scanners discovered something extraordinary. The hill resonates at a steady 6.8 Hz, a frequency that falls within the range of human brainwaves during deep meditation or trance. This isn't just geological happenstance, it's acoustic architecture. Legends speak of Tara as a gateway to the otherworld where druids communed with spirits. Now, science suggests those myths might hold a kernel of truth, that the site's very resonance could have been engineered to shift consciousness, aligning minds with unseen realms. Now, let the echoes of Malta's Hypogeum wash over you, a subterranean labyrinth carved 3,000 years before the pyramids. Here, sound behaves unnaturally. A low chant in the oracle chamber reverberates for nearly 8 seconds, bouncing off the curved walls in eerie harmonics. When researchers played tones matching the chamber's resonant frequency, 110 Hz, participants reported sudden clarity, visions, even a sense of floating. Modern studies show this specific frequency activates the prefrontal cortex, the brain's seat of insight and creativity. Coincidence, or did the Hypogeum's builders understand something about sound's power to unlock altered states? This is where the science of cymatics enters the conversation, the study of how sound waves shape matter. Pour sand on a metal plate, play a tone, and watch intricate geometric patterns emerge, perfect circles, hexagons, even mandalas. Ancient cultures may have observed this phenomenon intuitively, using sound not just for ritual but for construction. Imagine chanting at just the right pitch to soften stone, or aligning megaliths to amplify Earth's natural frequencies. Controversial, absolutely, but when you stand in Newgrange's chamber and feel the walls hum with distant thunder, it's hard to dismiss the idea outright. Yet behind these wonders lies a sobering truth: the human toll. Moving 50-ton stones without wheels or pulleys wasn't just a technical feat, it was an act of collective endurance. Modern experiments show it would have taken 500 people dragging a single sarsen block for Stonehenge, their hands calloused, backs straining under the weight of progress. The Hypogeum's spiral carvings, so precise they've lasted millennia, were likely etched by generations of artisans working in torchlit darkness. These sites aren't just monuments to ingenuity, They're testaments to labor, to lives spent in service of something beyond individual memory. What's striking is how these threads converge: sound as tool, as gateway, as unseen force binding the physical and spiritual. From Tara's resonant hill to Malta's singing stones, the ancients didn't just build for the eye. They composed symphonies in silence, leaving us to decipher the notes. The Great Pyramid's grandeur isn't just in its height, it's in the staggering scale of labor implied by its construction. Conventional estimates suggest it took 20,000 workers roughly 20 years to haul 2.3 million stone blocks into place. That means quarrying, transporting, and positioning an average of 12 blocks per hour, day and night without pause. The math alone strains credulity, especially when you consider some blocks weigh as much as 80 tons, equivalent to 50 modern cars. How did a Bronze Age society, supposedly reliant on copper chisels and wooden sledges, achieve such a relentless pace? Yet the contradictions deepen. Herodotus, the Greek historian, claimed slavery built the pyramids, but archaeological evidence paints a different picture. Workers' graves near Giza show signs of skilled labor, even medical care for injuries. Some inscriptions label teams with names like Friends of Khufu, hardly terms for an oppressed underclass. And then there are the indigenous legends, like those of the Dogon people in Mali, who speak of ancestors using vibrational chanting to make stones light as dried grass. Similar stories echo in the Andes and Polynesia cultures, separated by oceans yet united by tales of levitating megaliths. Could these oral histories preserve fragmented memories of lost techniques? Then there's the enigma of the tool marks. Deep inside the pyramid's so-called relieving chambers, granite surfaces bear precision grooves and drill holes so straight and smooth they resemble modern machining. Engineer Christopher Dunn demonstrated that replicating these cuts would require diamond-tipped tools and over 2 tons of force technology supposedly non-existent in 2500 BC. Even more baffling, some granite blocks show evidence of core drilling, a method where a rotating tube extracts cylindrical samples. Modern engineers use this for mineral exploration. But how would Old Kingdom Egyptians develop such advanced methods without leaving behind a single prototype tool? This isn't just a debate about construction methods, it's about reimagining history's narrative. Were the builders slaves, or were they part of a sophisticated society with knowledge we've yet to uncover? The pyramid's very geometry hints at the latter. Its dimensions encode the Earth's circumference, the speed of light in meters, even mathematical constants like pi. These aren't random inclusions, they're deliberate, purposeful thought. Whoever designed this structure didn't just move stone, they moved ideas, embedding cosmic truths in limestone. And if that knowledge feels overwhelming, consider this. Every culture that built megaliths also left behind numerical codes, from the Mayans' obsession with cycles of time to the Vedic text's sacred calculations. The pyramid's base perimeter, when divided by its height, gives us 7.407, a near-perfect match for the ratio of a circle's circumference to its radius. Coincidence strains past the breaking point, so as we turn to the numerological secrets woven into these monuments, ask yourself, were the ancients builders or were they mathematicians of the divine? Some of the most profound secrets of the ancients aren't carved in stone, they're woven into numbers. Take the frequency 432 Hz, a tone revered from Vedic chants to Gregorian hymns. Modern tuning standards favor 440 Hz, but ancient instruments from Tibetan singing bowls to Greek lyres were often calibrated to this lower pitch. Why researchers suggest 432 resonates with Earth's natural electromagnetic field, which hums at roughly 8 Hz. Multiply that by 54, a sacred number in Hinduism, and you land back at 432. It's as if this frequency wasn't just music, it was a harmonic anchor syncing human vibration to the pulse of the planet. Then there's the Bible's enigmatic 144,000, a number echoing through Revelation as the count of the sealed. Skeptics dismiss it as symbolic, but temple measurements tell a different story. The outer wall of the New Jerusalem, described in Revelation 21, measures 12,000 stadia, a figure that, when multiplied by its 12 gates, gives 144,000. Even more striking, this same number appears in the geometry of the Great Pyramid. Divide its base perimeter by 144,000, and you get a value eerily close to the speed of light in meters per second. Coincidence or coded knowledge cross the Atlantic, and the Maya's long count calendar stretches 1,872,000 days, a cycle ending famously in 2012. Few realize this number isn't arbitrary. It's a precise multiple of Venus' orbital period. The Maya tracked Venus' 8-year cycles with such accuracy that their calculations were off by just 2 hours per 500 years. Meanwhile, in India, the Rigveda's hymns speak of a cosmic year lasting 24,000 divine years, a figure hauntingly close to Earth's precessional wobble. What binds these numbers across cultures? Some researchers point to DNA. The double helix completes a full twist every 10.5 base pairs, a ratio mirroring the proportions of sacred sites like the Parthenon. Even water molecules, when exposed to 432 Hz tones, form hexagonal structures resembling the flower of life. Mathematics, it seems, isn't just a language of science, it's the hidden syntax of existence, linking cells to stars, sound to stone. But here's the twist: these numerical codes aren't lost to history. Modern scientists and musicians are reviving them, uncovering astonishing effects, from faster plant growth in 432 Hz environments to brainwaves synchronizing with sacred geometries. The bridge between physical and spiritual realms might just be built on equations. And as we'll soon discover, this isn't ancient history, it's a revolution happening in labs today. Nikola Tesla once wrote in his notebooks that if humanity grasped the true significance of numbers 3, 6, and 9, we'd unlock the secrets of the universe. To most, it sounded like the musings of a brilliant but eccentric mind, until modern researchers found those very digits encoded in the spin of electron clouds, the harmonics of planetary orbits, even the Fibonacci sequence's reduction patterns. Tesla wasn't just counting, he was decoding a cosmic cipher. His Wardenclyffe Tower experiments tapped into Earth's resonant frequencies, aiming to harness what he called standing waves, energy nodes he believed mirrored the same geometric principles found in pyramid chambers and Stonehenge's alignments. Long dismissed as pseudoscience, Tesla's theories are now experiencing a renaissance. Quantum physicists have discovered that certain atomic structures vibrate at frequencies divisible by 9, while superconductivity experiments achieve breakthroughs using hexagonal, 6-sided lattices, precisely the shapes Tesla obsessively sketched. Then there's the enigma of crop circles, those intricate designs, some spanning hundreds of feet, appearing overnight in fields, aren't just haphazard tramplings. The most complex formations exhibit flawless fractal geometry, logarithmic spirals, and even encoded mathematical constants like pi. Skeptics argue these are elaborate hoaxes, pointing to teams like Doug and Dave, two retirees who claimed responsibility for hundreds of UK circles in the 1990s. But here's the catch: genuine crop circles show biological anomalies. Stems bent at microscopic nodes without breaking, soil magnetized, even seeds germinating at accelerated rates. Astrophysicist Dr. Horace Drew, a former Cambridge researcher, analyzed patterns in crops that mirror ancient Sumerian star maps, suggesting an intelligence behind them far beyond human pranksters. Whether extraterrestrial messages or Earth's own geomagnetic artistry, one truth remains: these designs echo the same sacred geometry found in temples and megaliths. The line between ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science blurs further in quantum physics. Hermetic texts from Egypt declare, "As above, so below," a principle now mirrored in quantum entanglement, where particles separated by light years instantaneously mirror each other's states. String theory posits that reality is woven from vibrating geometric filaments, while the double-slit experiment proves particles behave differently when observed, as if consciousness itself shapes matter. Sound familiar? It's the foundational belief of sacred geometry, that mind and material are interwoven through geometric resonance. Yet for all its wonder, this field carries a warning. Misinterpretation lurks where mysticism overshadows rigor. Pyramids do exhibit unique energy dynamics. Studies show their shapes concentrate electromagnetic waves in their chambers, but claims of healing energies often lack empirical backing. The golden ratio is prevalent in nature, but forcing it into every artwork or architecture ignores context. Sacred geometry isn't magic, it's a lens revealing how deeply mathematics binds the universe. And as we'll see next, that lens is now sharpening in ways Tesla himself might never have imagined today. As we explore these ancient wonders, it's crucial to pause and ask, where does genuine discovery end and speculation begin? Sacred geometry, for all its beauty, has a shadow side, one where symbols and numbers can be twisted to fit narratives far removed from their original meaning. Take the swastika, a sacred motif found in Hindu temples and Navajo textiles, representing prosperity and the cycle of life. Yet in the 20th century, it was stolen, inverted, and weaponized into an emblem of hate. This wasn't just cultural theft, it was a warning of how easily profound symbols can be hijacked to serve agendas that dishonor their roots. Then there's the trap of number grabbing, the temptation to force connections where none exist. Sure, if you divide the Great Pyramid's height by the number of days in a lunar cycle and multiply by your birthday, you might stumble upon a figure that feels significant. But correlation isn't causation. Mainstream researchers emphasize that while ancient builders embedded sophisticated math into their designs, not every measurement holds cosmic meaning. The pyramids do encode Earth's dimensions, but claiming they predict stock market crashes or alien visitations strays into territory where skepticism is essential. Here's the balance: curiosity tempered with rigor. Geophysicists using LiDAR technology to map hidden chambers, or archaeologists carbon dating mortar aren't debunking mysteries, they're deepening them. The difference: they follow evidence, not just hunches. When a study reveals that Malta's hypogeum resonates at frequencies that affect brain activity, that's verifiable science. When someone insists the same frequency opens portals to Atlantis, that's where we need to pause and question. Yet for all these cautions, there's something undeniably transformative about engaging with these patterns personally. Modern architects now design hospitals using Fibonacci ratios to create spaces that reduce patient stress. Mindfulness apps incorporate mandala imagery to guide meditation, leveraging the same principles once carved into temple walls. The magic isn't in some lost supernatural technology, it's in geometry's innate ability to harmonize chaos, to give form to the intangible. When you sketch a flower of life or sit beneath a cathedral's vaulted ceiling, you're not just observing history, you're participating in a lineage of wonder that spans millennia. So how do we honor these traditions without veering into fantasy? By grounding awe in attention to both the stones and the stories they truly tell. The next time you encounter a claim about ancient geometries, listen for the echoes of evidence, not just the allure of mystery. Because the real power of these patterns lies not in what we project onto them, but in what they reveal about human ingenuity and our endless quest to make sense of the stars. Imagine holding a compass in your hand, not the kind that points north, but one that maps your inner stillness. Drawing a personal meditation mandala begins with this simple act, a circle, the universe's most fundamental shape. Start by tracing its outline on paper, then divide it into symmetrical sections using sacred ratios, perhaps the flower of life pattern or a series of concentric rings. As your pencil moves, focus on intention rather than perfection. Research from the Journal of Art Therapy shows that creating geometric art lowers cortisol levels, synchronizing breath and heartbeat with the rhythmic motion of the design. This isn't just art, it's a portal to presence where the act of drawing becomes as calming as gazing at the finished piece. Now, step into a different kind of geometry, one you walk with your feet. Labyrinths, those winding paths etched into cathedral floors or carved into garden earth, are more than decorative puzzles. Unlike mazes with dead ends, a labyrinth's single meandering route to the center mirrors the brain's theta waves during meditation. Studies at Stanford reveal that walking these patterns for just 10 minutes reduces anxiety by 30%, as the repetitive turns quiet the mind's chatter. Try tracing a finger labyrinth first, a pocket-sized version, then seek out local spirals in parks or spiritual centers. The key, let your footsteps sync with your breath, allowing the path to guide you into a trance-like calm. But what if the healing power of geometry extends beyond sight and touch into what we drink? Russian scientist Dr. Igor Smirnov's experiments with tetrahedral water, structured into hexagonal clusters, show startling results. When exposed to specific frequencies or sacred symbols like the Sri Yantra, water molecules rearrange into symmetrical formations, and when consumed, subjects report heightened mental clarity. You can test this at home. Place a glass of water on a printed flower of life design for an hour, then taste the difference. Skeptics argue it's placebo, but peer-reviewed studies in materials science confirm that structured water hydrates cells more efficiently. For a deeper dive into vibrational healing, experiment with binaural beat sound frequencies that entrain brainwaves. Put on headphones and play tones tuned to 432 Hz, the cosmic frequency, in one ear and 440 Hz in the other. The brain perceives the 8 Hz difference, a pulse matching Earth's electromagnetic resonance. Neuroscientists at the Monroe Institute found this triggers gamma wave states linked to insight and creativity. Start with short sessions. Even 15 minutes can shift mental fog into focused flow. Yet beneath these practices lies a tantalizing thread. What if sacred geometry isn't just a tool but a legacy? Across cultures, from Aboriginal songlines to Celtic knotwork, these patterns emerge like fingerprints of a shared ancestry. Some anthropologists propose they're remnants of an ancient global civilization's knowledge not lost but hidden in plain sight. Others see them as innate to human cognition, hardwired into our perception of beauty and balance. Whether memory or miracle, one truth resonates: when we engage with these shapes intentionally, we're not just exploring history. We're reclaiming a language older than words, one that whispers of unity between body, earth, and cosmos. And that whisper grows louder as we approach humanity's most profound question. The story begins with a philosopher's ancient manuscript, one that has haunted historians for over 2,000 years. In Plato's Timaeus, he describes a legendary island empire beyond the Pillars of Hercules, its capital city built in perfect concentric rings of land and water. Bridges, canals, and temples arranged with geometric precision, all glowing with a metal called orichalcum, until, in a single cataclysmic day and night, Atlantis sank beneath the waves. For centuries, scholars dismissed it as allegory, a moral fable about hubris. But then satellite imagery revealed the Richat structure in Mauritania, a natural geological formation so eerily symmetrical, it mirrors Plato's descriptions almost exactly. 3 concentric rings, a central island like plateau, even the dimensions match his stated measurements. Could this sweeping, sun-baked expanse in the Sahara be the skeleton of Atlantis? Geologists argue the Richat is simply an eroded volcanic dome, its rings sculpted by wind and time, yet anomalies linger. Plato wrote Atlantis lay near a mountain range, fitting the nearby Atlas Mountains. He described the city's outer ring as 300 stadia wide, about 55 kilometers. The Richat's outermost ridge spans 50 kilometers. Even the timeline raises questions. Plato dated Atlantis's fall to 9,000 years before his era, around 11,500 years ago, coinciding with the Younger Dryas period, when a comet impact or meltwater floods may have triggered global catastrophe. Indigenous flood myths from the Hopi to the Sumerians echo this timeline, speaking of civilizations drowned by rising seas or fiery skies. But here's the thornier puzzle. If Atlantis was real, were its builders the same hands behind megaliths like Baalbek or Puma Punku? The so-called Platform of the Gods in Lebanon features stone blocks weighing over 1,000 tons, cut and positioned with a precision even modern cranes struggle to replicate. Meanwhile, oral histories from the Andes speak of Viracocha, a pale-skinned sage who taught masonry and astronomy before vanishing westward. Could these scattered clues point to a shared ancestral culture, one that seeded geometric knowledge worldwide before collapsing? The answer might lie not in stone, but in memory. Indigenous elders from the Dogon to the Aboriginal Australians preserve detailed star lore knowledge of Sirius's invisible companion star or the Pleiades cycles passed down for millennia without telescopes. These traditions often speak of ancestors from the sea or star teachers who brought sacred geometry as both tool and spiritual code. Modern genetic studies add intrigue. Traces of an unknown human ancestor linger in some indigenous DNA, suggesting lost branches of our family tree. Whether Atlantis was literal or symbolic, its legacy endures in the geometric fingerprints left on our world. The real revelation, these patterns aren't just artifacts, they're an invitation to explore not only what was built, but why and what those choices might teach us about our own place in the cosmic design. Before telescopes or textbooks, the stars were already speaking, if you knew how to listen. For generations, the Hopi elders of the American Southwest have passed down stories of the Kachinas, celestial beings who descended from the heavens with gifts of wisdom. Among these gifts, sacred geometry patterns etched into ritual pottery and sand paintings, said to mirror the blueprints of creation itself. Similar lore echoes across the globe. Aboriginal elders in Australia describe the Wandjina, sky ancestors who painted star maps on cave walls, while the Lakota speak of the Chanunpa, the sacred pipe stem carved with spirals representing the Milky Way's path. These aren't just myths, they're meticulous oral archives preserved with the precision of an astronomer's logbook. Yet for centuries, Western academia dismissed these accounts as folklore, relegating them to anthropology's margins. Only recently have researchers like Dr. Paulette Steeves, a Cree Métis archaeologist, challenged this bias. Her work tracks indigenous star knowledge like the Anishinaabes' accurate predictions of comet cycles, back tens of thousands of years, long before Greek or Babylonian records. The disconnect is stark, where indigenous traditions see geometry as lived wisdom woven into ceremony and daily life. Western science often treats it as abstract theory, divorced from spiritual context. Now a shift is unfolding. The Hopi prophecy of the Fifth World, a coming era where humanity rediscovers these geometric blueprints to restore ecological balance, is finding eerie parallels in modern physics. Biophysicists studying plant growth patterns notice Fibonacci sequences in leaf arrangements, while quantum experiments reveal subatomic particles forming geometric clusters. Suddenly, the elders' teachings don't seem so metaphorical. What happens when we bridge these worldviews? Projects like the Indigenous Science Network are doing just that, pairing Navajo stargazers with astrophysicists to decode petroglyphs that may chart supernova events. Meanwhile, the Maori's Whakapapa genealogical traditions, which encode cosmic cycles in chants, are being analyzed for mathematical consistency. The result isn't just richer science, it's a reunion. As Ojibwe elder Eddie Bentonban I once said, "The stars are our oldest teachers. We've just forgotten how to take notes." The future of this research pulses with possibility. From satellite imagery confirming ancient Polynesian navigation, routes to sound healing studies validating Tibetan mantra frequencies, the gap between traditional and empirical is narrowing. Perhaps the real mystery isn't whether the star ancestors visited, but why we ever stopped looking up. The jungle canopy of the Amazon stretches thick and unbroken for thousands of miles, or so we once thought. Then came LiDAR, the laser-based imaging technology that strips away layers of vegetation like an X-ray, revealing what the Earth has kept secret for centuries. Hidden beneath those towering trees lie sprawling urban networks, raised highways, geometric plazas, even ceremonial pyramids, all evidence of civilizations that thrived here long before European contact. These aren't primitive villages, they're meticulously planned cities, their layouts echoing the same sacred ratios found in pyramids and temples across the globe. The sheer scale rewrites history. Over 10,000 structures uncovered in Bolivia's Beni region alone, connected by causeways that stretch farther than modern highways. How could societies this advanced vanish without leaving traces in our textbooks? Now, shift from the rainforest to the arid plains of Turkey, where another revolution is unfolding, this time in artificial intelligence. Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known temple, has baffled archaeologists since its discovery. Its massive T-shaped pillars, carved 12,000 years ago, bear strange animal reliefs and abstract symbols. But what do they mean? Researchers are now training AI algorithms to analyze these carvings, comparing them to global mythologies and celestial patterns. Early results suggest the symbols might encode astronomical events, like comet strikes from the Younger Dryas period. Some even propose the entire site could be a prehistoric Rosetta Stone, waiting for machine learning to crack its code. Yet with every technological leap comes an ethical dilemma. Indigenous groups warn that scanning sacred sites without consent risks turning cultural heritage into mere data points. In Australia, Aboriginal elders have halted LiDAR surveys near Dreamtime sites, fearing their stories passed down orally for millennia could be misinterpreted or exploited. Even at Göbekli Tepe, some argue the mystery itself has value, that not every pillar needs decoding to be meaningful. Where's the line between discovery and intrusion? Here's where you come in. Projects like Global Explorer let everyday volunteers sift through satellite images for undiscovered ruins, while Zooniverse's Megalith Hunter trains AI to spot standing stones in drone footage. These aren't just games, they're gateways to real archaeological breakthroughs, fueled by global curiosity rather than institutional budgets. But beyond the thrill of discovery lies a deeper question. What does it mean when machines start deciphering our ancestors' minds? If AI can trace connections between Göbekli Tepe symbols and Navajo star charts or Vedic hymns, does that suggest a shared human consciousness, a universal language etched in stone and myth? The answer might not lie in the past, but in how we choose to wield these tools in the present. As we stand at this crossroads between bytes and bedrock, one truth becomes clear. Technology isn't just revealing lost cities, it's reshaping our relationship with history itself. Beneath the surface of our everyday reality lies a radical idea, one that turns the solid world we know into something far more mysterious. Imagine peeling back the fabric of space like a decal, only to discover that everything, every stone, star, and even our own thoughts might just be a cosmic projection. This is the holographic principle, a theory emerging from the edges of physics that suggests our three-dimensional universe could be a kind of illusion, a shadow cast by information encoded on a two-dimensional surface at the boundary of existence. Picture a movie projected onto a screen, except the screen is the event horizon of a black hole, and the movie is everything we perceive as real. If that sounds like science fiction, consider this. Sacred geometry has whispered the same idea for millennia. Fractals, those infinitely repeating patterns found in ferns, coastlines, and galaxies, mirror this holographic nature. Zoom into a Mandelbrot set, and you'll find smaller copies of the whole nestled within itself, ad infinitum. These aren't just pretty designs, they're mathematical echoes of a universe built on recursive information. Ancient cultures seem to grasp this intuitively. The flower of life, carved into Egyptian temples and etched in sacred texts, isn't just a symbol. It's a two-dimensional blueprint that, when rotated, generates every form in existence from atoms to solar systems. Now layer this with the megaliths. If reality is indeed a hologram, could these stone monuments be more than tombs or calendars? Some researchers propose they're resonant antennas designed to interact with the underlying code of the cosmos. Take the Great Pyramid. Its geometry doesn't just reflect Earth's dimensions, it also focuses electromagnetic energy into its chambers, as recent studies confirm. Or consider the eerie hum detected at sites like Avebury and Karnak, where low-frequency vibrations align with the Schumann resonance, Earth's natural electromagnetic heartbeat. Were the builders tuning into a frequency most of us can't perceive, accessing what physicist David Bohm called the implicate order, the hidden fabric beneath visible reality? Mainstream science remains skeptical, and rightly so. Extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. Yet even skeptics acknowledge that quantum physics increasingly blurs the line between the material and the informational. Particles behave differently when observed, as if consciousness itself stitches reality together. String theory posits that the universe's building blocks aren't points but vibrating strings, their harmonies manifesting as matter. Suddenly, the idea that ancient sites might harness these principles doesn't seem so far-fetched. So where does this leave us? Perhaps the true purpose of these monuments isn't just to mark time or venerate gods, but to act as interfaces, bridges between the seen and unseen, the measurable and the mystical. Whether by design or accident, they challenge us to reconsider what's possible. And as we approach our final reflections, the most profound question isn't just how these builders achieved such feats, but why they left them behind for us to find. For every stone we turn in archaeology, we uncover not just answers but deeper mysteries that refuse to fit neatly into textbooks. The debate between mainstream science and alternative theories isn't a battleground, it's a dialogue, one that pushes our understanding further than either side could reach alone. Take the pyramids. While engineers marvel at the precision of their alignments, some researchers argue their true purpose goes beyond tombs or solar calendars. Could they have been energy conduits, as physicist Christopher Dunn suggests, or is their geometry simply a testament to human ingenuity? The beauty lies in the tension between these ideas, the way they challenge us to question, to test, to wonder. Mainstream archaeology has undeniably gifted us with breakthroughs. Carbon dating, LiDAR scans, and 3D modeling have peeled back layers of time, revealing cities like Cambodia's Angkor Wat or Mexico's Teotihuacan in stunning detail. These tools confirm that ancient builders worked with astonishing skill, even if their methods remain partially shrouded. Yet for every solved enigma, like the discovery of ramp systems near Egypt's pyramids, there's a Göbekli Tepe, a site so ancient and complex it upends our timeline of civilization's rise. Science thrives on these puzzles. They're not failures, but invitations to dig deeper. At the same time, alternative theories, from acoustic levitation to lost technologies, remind us that history's margins often hide the most tantalizing clues. The key isn't to accept every claim uncritically, but to let them stretch our imagination. When Inuit elders describe ancestors softening stone with herbal mixtures, or when Sanskrit texts detail flying machines called vimanas, these narratives might not be literal records, but they could encode forgotten truths about experimentation and innovation. Dismissing them outright risks silencing voices that might hold pieces of the puzzle. Here's where curiosity becomes our greatest tool. Imagine approaching these mysteries like a detective, weighing evidence, cross-referencing sources, staying open to surprises. The acoustic properties of Newgrange's passage tomb, for instance, weren't fully appreciated until modern researchers brought in frequency analyzers, proving that ancient builders might have prioritized sound as much as sight. Similarly, the geometric similarities between distant sites could reflect shared human intuition rather than secret global contact. Both explanations are valid, both deserve exploration. As we stand at the threshold of our final synthesis, remember, the past isn't a locked door but a labyrinth. Each turn reveals new pathways, some leading to solid ground, others to tantalizing dead ends. What matters isn't rushing to the exit, but savoring the journey, the questions that keep us awake at night, the theories that spark debate, the sheer wonder of standing before a megalith and thinking, how? Why, these aren't just academic exercises, they're what make us human, and perhaps that's the greatest lesson these ancient builders left behind. Not just their stones, but their relentless curiosity, echoing across millennia to meet ours. Now, as we weave these threads together, let's ask not just what these monuments were, but what they mean for us today.